Hey everybody, welcome back to the Post Frame Podcast. I'm back again with Blair Neihouser. How you
Hey,
doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
So today we're going to talk about zoning, permits, and regulations. We'll get into this. So, like I said from the intro, we're going to talk about zoning, permits, regulations when you're building a pole barn.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing.
It varies. So, let's just dive into the first one, zoning. What is that?
Yeah. Zoning really pertains to the piece of property, right? Everyone thinks when they're gonna, well, not everyone. We get calls or when our sales guys engage with the customer all the time, they're like, "Do I really got to get a permit?
Yeah.
Like, what's the government got to do with
Yeah.
No, no, we'll get to that." So I mean, people generally have some understanding that they're gonna need to get a building permit,
Mhm.
but that phrase and some of the actions along with that are different than zoning. So you go buy a piece. So let's take an example, right? You go buy a piece of ground. Let's go a residential angle. You go buy an acre on kind of the edge of town, outside of town, whatever, and it's zoned. That piece of property, no matter the buildings it has on it, it's zoned something. It might be agriculturally zoned and have an ag classification as what it is zoned. It might have a residential zoning label to it. It might have a commercial, and there's a few different. Normally, there's a few different levels of commercial zoning. So any piece of ground, no matter how big, small it is, has a zoning classification. And what that does is that establishes the various types of uses of buildings that you can build on that piece of property. So like let's take a weird example maybe, right? So you buy a quarter acre, right? A lot of these subdivision lots, right? Or
Yeah.
quarter acre lots, right? You go buy a quarter acre in the middle of a subdivision. More than likely that's probably going to be zoned
Residential.
pop quiz, right? Residential. Keeping you on your toes on
Yeah.
this wonderful topic. It's likely going to be zoned residential. And so there's not going to be the availability to build a manufacturing use structure on that residentially zoned piece of property. They're just not going to let that happen,
Right.
right? For two reasons. One, the piece of property isn't zoned right? It's zoned residential. And in most jurisdictions and in most cases, a residentially zoned property is not going to have as a possible building use a commercial, manufacturing, large storage, whatever type of structure allowed to be built on it. And why? Like, why does anybody care?
Yeah,
Right?
that's where I was going. It's like if that's my
That's
land,
your land.
I can do what I want with it, right?
By golly. And you're largely right. You can do what you want with it as long as you follow a few steps. So when you're buying a piece of property, anybody out there looking for, real estate or looking to build their next building or needing property, understanding what it is zoned is a big deal. So what are your options on that piece of property for the types of buildings you can build on it? That's going to be defined by the zoning classification.
Where would people go to find that? Say if I was looking at a piece of property, how would I find out what it's zoned?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, one easy thing is pick up the phone and call. Normally there is a zoning office or a zoning officer or a city clerk or a,
Assessor?
circuit clerk, assessor. Like, I mean, a lot of those roles, you go to the county website and you start seeing some of those roles and you see a phone number, call them. They'll either be the right person or they'll get you to the right person.
Okay.
And you can ask them, hey, this is the address. Can you tell me what it's zoned? Can you tell me then what the options are, building uses? And depending on the county, sometimes they have a lot of this stuff online.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever heard the term GIS.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tool that a lot of counties use. They put it on their website, and it's actually the ability for anybody to go in and through a Google map sort of feel of a site, go into a specific property and you can click on it and it'll take you right to the assessor's report.
Mhm.
It'll list all those things of what it's zoned, what its tax assessment is. I mean, all that stuff's public record.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you can go online and see. You can call. You can stop in right at your local county courthouse. That's generally where a lot of these offices are held in the courthouse, or wherever the county seat is. So, yeah, those are multiple ways you can find out what it is.
Okay.
And hopefully you know it if you own the property. Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously if you're buying one, you're gonna want to know what that is.
Right.
So
Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. We'll see you.